Welcome, dear friends, to the Military Reporter channel. As always, we continue to make a selection of what is happening on the front line. The footage shows Russian soldiers approaching Ukrainian positions to conduct an assault, at which point a Ukrainian FPV drone attacks the soldiers, but the drone loses control due to the electronic warfare system.
Валим! Где мой? Погнали! Погнали! Куда валить? Погнали! Давай, двойками делимся! Бегом! I'm so exposed here. This is not a good position.
Shut up and watch your sector. Let's go, man! Let's go! Cover me!
Meet the new foreign camouflage design entering mass production. The footage shows Colombian mercenaries pulling out a 200th Australian mercenary after being caught in the crossfire from Russian soldiers at Pokrovsk direction.
Vai, porra!
Good job, guys. Good job. Very good job.
Não, lá, porra! Ajuda lá! Puta!
A drone captured the moment of the destruction of a temporary deployment point of the Ukrainian armed forces with the use of 4 FAB 500s near Kherson. Soldiers from the 120th Artillery Brigade, DARE, found a group of Ukrainian armed forces soldiers who had taken shelter in the basement of a destroyed house and put a door at the entrance, expecting that it would protect them from a stray FPV drone. However, a 152mm Krasnopolem artillery shell knocked on the door. Pokrovsk direction. Paratroopers unwound the column at Chasov Yar. Powerful footage of cameramen of the 98th Airborne Division. Ukrainian soldiers tried to take advantage of the overcast weather and conduct a rotation in Chasov Yar in a way that has not been done for a long time. That is, by armored convoy. UAV calculations of the Ivanova paratroopers simultaneously picked up several FPV drones and unwound the column. In addition to 4 units of armored vehicles, the enemy lost all personnel sent for rotation. Destroyed equipment of Ukrainian soldiers by Russian soldiers of the Guardia Sever. In the course of mopping up the outskirts of the settlement of Gavo, Kursk region, the soldiers of the 30th Motorized Rifle Group of the 44th Army Corps of the Guardia North are advancing along routes littered with Ukrainian armed forces vehicles and military equipment. The footage shows a Ukrainian T-72 tank and a Nissan Pathfinder SUV destroyed by the North in the Sudzhan border area. The situation in Pokrovsk, filmed by Ukrainian soldiers. Russian troops do not stop striking with artillery at Ukrainian armed forces positions near Pokrovsk, destroying the force along with their armored vehicles. The footage shows a group of AFU soldiers trying to leave Pokrovsk by various means. One of the soldiers said that, "I will never come back here again." A Russian soldier shows the situation at the front and how Russian soldiers use a grenade launcher. Battalion Ania continues to scorch the enemy in his hideouts on the Zaporizhia direction. Dear friends, if the video is interesting to you, support it with a like and subscribe to the channel to not miss new releases. And to be informed, click on the bell. Thank you for watching, and we will continue. Images from the side of Ukrainian soldiers. The moment when ATGM hit a vehicle with an anti-aircraft system, where a Ukrainian Zu-23 crew was stationed. Russian UAV operators saved the life of a female AFU soldier. Russian FPV operators, performing a combat mission in the Orkhovsky direction, saw two wounded soldiers of the Ukrainian armed forces. They wanted to attack them, but at the last moment they noticed that one of the soldiers was a young female medic who gestured that she was surrendering. A Russian FPV drone bypasses an anti-drone network and chases the enemy, then decides to destroy the enemy's transport. A Russian Uragan MLRS launcher strikes Ukrainian armed forces equipment in New Poltava, Ukraine. In the area northeast of the village of Turia in the Sumy region, special forces of the Rosgvardia Special Forces, together with UAV calculations of the Sever subdivision, destroyed an Ukrainian armed forces tank. East of Pokrovsk near Tarasovka. The footage captured a moment of the work of assault and reconnaissance units of the 33rd Motorized Rifle Regiment. The enemy infantry is looking for shelter in the ruins and the remaining more or less intact houses. Russian UAV operators stack enemy hideouts that become their graves. It is unlikely that anyone will be retrieving the bodies of the enemy anytime soon, which means they will be listed as missing. The FPV drone captured a burst of enemy mortar fire. Another video from the Vega Special Forces unit. The Dronovods of the squad are nightmarishing the enemy in the Pokrovsk direction. With special cynicism, they destroy Baba Yaga hexacopter on the ground, electronic warfare, and counter-battery stations. Of the Ukrainian armed forces Kozak armored fighting vehicle burned by Russian soldiers in the Sudzhan border area. Fighters of the Guardia North, in the course of mopping up the Kursk region from Ukrainian soldiers, continue to inspect the scrap metal on which the enemy dared to drive into the Russian land. As we can see, the armor of this Kozak armored fighting vehicle did not save the infantry from imminent death. Zala Lancet deprived the AFU of more than 120 T-64 tanks. The T-64 has become the most mass-produced tank of the Ukrainian army. According to open sources, 121 T-64 tanks of the Ukrainian armed forces have been destroyed by the Zala Lancet reconnaissance and strike system since the beginning of the war. The coordinates of enemy vehicles are received in real time from Zala Z-16 reconnaissance UAVs by the operators of the Lancet family of barrage munitions. Due to high maneuverability, high-quality video signal, application of modern control and navigation algorithms, the Lancets are capable of attacking armored vehicles from an unexpected side, striking weakly protected areas, which often leads to detonation of ammunition. The T-64 tank, developed in the 1960s, has become one of the main fighting vehicles of the AFU's armored forces. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, Ukraine inherited hundreds of these tanks, which were modernized to the T-64BV, T-64BM Bullet, and other versions. These tanks are characterized by combined armor, 125mm gun, and relatively high mobility. During the modernization, the latest versions of the combat vehicles also received modern thermal imaging cameras, a satellite navigation system, a digital radio station, and updated dynamic protection. According to the Ukrainian media, the Ukrainian army had about 800 active T-64 tanks in service at the beginning of the Strategic Defense Forces. We present a selection of footage of objective control of the Lancet's use against Ukrainian armed forces T-64 tanks. Footage from the enemy's side, where a Ukroboyevik watches as a Russian FPV drone strikes their armored vehicles standing in the field.
Работает расчет короткого.
19. The Strelet 10 SAM system from the 5th ZRP of the 98th Airborne Division destroys an Ukrainian Armed Forces reconnaissance UAV Furia. In Malaya Tokmachka, the reconnaissance of the 1,251st Regiment spotted an SAU of the Ukrainian soldiers disguised as a building. The frame was shot as the FPV drones of the 70th Guards Regiment and the 417th Reconnaissance Battalion instantly destroyed this artillery installation. UAV operators of the 14th Independent Guards Brigade of Special Forces of the Vostok Group dropped spikes on one of the road sections near the Bogodar settlement. Quite soon, a passing enemy UAV absorbed the thorns and then was burned by an FPV drone strike.